Listen to me, motherfucker. I'm talking. I say horrible things sometimes because I think they're funny. My podcast is a verbal mosh pit because it's just me pinwheeling around. You don't know where the fuck I'm going to wind up, and I generally have no idea when it's going to end or start. I'm responsible for this whole goddamn thing. I want a little respect from you people. Hey, what's happening? Mike Schmidt, 40-Year-Old Boy Podcast. I am loud in my head. That's awesome. I like being loud. That's fine. My ears are filled with wax, so I need it to be as loud as possible. I went for a physical. That's what it came down to. The guy's looking at my ears. Look, here's the thing. Is it bad when your doctor looks in your ears and whistles? Like when he makes that noise? And by the way, that's how bad I whistled, but he whistled much stronger, but that's all I could hear through the wax in my ears. I mean, it was just regrettable. So, and he's like, oh, wow, you got a lot of wax in your ears. And I go, yeah, I got a, fucking Mounds bar in each ear. And he starts laughing, and he's like, what, do you want me to get that out of there? And I said, nah, because I'm deathly afraid of anything going inside of my ear. I don't, a Q-tip, a monkey cock, whatever. I don't want anything in my goddamn ear. And he's like, all right, I said, I'll do it at my house with peroxide. I said, I tried that Murine. There's this Murine ear flush removal system crap. Nope, doesn't work. It's just because it looks like an air horn, but it's got like a long. It looks like, you know what? Honestly, it looks like Roach Killer. Roach Killer has this really thin cocktail straw at the end of it to get really in the cracks. Well, I guess they figure your ear is infested with roaches, so they put it on the Murine ear system. And I did it in the shower. And I sprayed it in there, and I'm just standing waiting for it to fucking, do its magic and march the wax out, a la, passengers onto the trains during the Holocaust, and it didn't happen. Because that's what I wanted. I wanted to have an earwax Holocaust. That's what I wanted to do. I wanted to put it all out of its misery. I was going to go ahead and fucking, in 3 treblinkas of my eye, I was going to get all the wax out of my ear. Ha ha! This is Holocaust humor early in the show. Yeah, it's worth that. It is definitely worth you saying that. So yeah, I had a physical, and I don't know what's happening. Here, my doctor, they gave me like an EEG. I had to have all that stuff, and they took blood, and then I had to unfortunately urinate in a cup, which apparently I'm uncomfortable disclosing. I don't know why. You know why? Because they put me to sleep beforehand. They had to they had to induce urination because I'm gun shy, folks. I can't perform. I can't piss in a shot glass anymore. It's not like when I worked in the bar, not like the old days when I could do it from across the room. I could just do a fucking St. Louis arch from one side of the bar to the other, boom, and hit the glass every single goddamn time. Now forget about it. My cock blinks 3 times and goes to sleep. I'm like, dude, we got to get this done or else we're going to stand here. You're in my hand. I got to spin you around and start you up manually. Is that what's happening? I got to helicopter you to get you to piss into a cup now? Jesus Christ. They got to find out if I'm going to die. Piss in this cup. But he shuts down, man. He shuts his one eye, clunk, goes right to sleep. Done. Adios. Not happening. And then the worst part is like the angle. Nobody likes pissing in a cup, right? None of us do. Who does? Who among us is thinking to themselves, God, I love pissing in a cup. It's my favorite part of the physical. Because honestly, because they put I'll show you. It's funny. I had my physical last week. Here, I should just fucking pull my arm out. Here, pull my sleeve. All right. This is horrible. But look at that. I still have the Band-Aid garbage from and you can see, yeah, because the fucking chick had to dig into my arm. Holy shit. She acted like my arm was a goddamn birthday cake and she was carving it up because they have to find a vein. And I have deep veins, folks. I have deep set eyes and I have deep veins. That's what I found out about myself. So she's got me flexing and she's holding my arm and she's doing that thing where she's looking for a vein. And this is all right, look, nurses blow. All right, can we all agree with that? Except when nurses are cool. When nurses do their job properly, I like nurses. But when a nurse fucks everything up, is there anybody worse? Let's think about this. All right. Who, if they're bad at their job, is worse than a nurse? Honestly, all the garbage man does is miss the truck and all the garbage is on the ground, but then he's just got to pick it up and throw it in there. But if a nurse is bad at her job, people fucking die. Doctors too. You can't be bad at your job. So this nurse, she goes at me like fucking, my arm's her white whale, and she's finally discovered it, and she's going to fucking harpoon it. And she's digging around because they fucking get tired of looking for the vein. That's the thing that drives me crazy. Man, I'm talking fast. Let's take a break, folks. Let's scale it back a little bit here. All right. How are you? I'm fine. Let's relax. This is my new year. This is the new me, folks, for the new year, for 2011. I got to stop rolling downhill. That's what I got to stop doing. Although, you know what? Part of me likes working like that because then all of a sudden I look up and we're 30 minutes in and it's like, holy shit, I'm almost done. It's the same principle I have like when you have when you were a kid and they're like, eat your vegetables and you'd swallow them whole. It was like, you were just like, let's get it over with. You know what I mean? Whereas like, I don't want to eat these Brussels sprouts. Well, I'll bite them once and then swallow the whole thing. And so, but now I love Brussels sprouts. So that's out of the question. Now I savor every bite. But as a child, if there was something I did not enjoy, I would swallow. I could swallow it whole. That's how I would eat it. Like to get rid of it, I was just like, well, fuck it. I'll just swallow those peas whole, and I would do that. So that's kind of I'm bringing that same philosophy here to this show. I figure if I talk really quickly and I get it over with, then the show's over with. Not that I don't enjoy doing this show, folks. I'm just worried that I'm not going to be able to fill the time of this show, as I worry every single week. And then 2 hours in, Lily goes, "Hey, you going to shut up at any point?" And I go, "Yeah, that's a good. I got to make a phone call here and get a painting." So where was I? What was I talking about?
When they can't find the vein.
My arm, folks. I have deep veins. So what I hate is when the nurse can't find it and then just decides she's going to go for it. Is there anything worse? When they just decide to plunge into you with the goddamn needle. Look, I'm not a guy who's needle shy, and I have a pretty good pain tolerance. But if you put it in there and you start playing pin the tail on the fucking donkey inside of my arm, again, I don't mind if you're deciding where to go and you plunge in and miss. Then you know what? Pull the needle out and plunge in again. I don't mind being a pincushion. Okay? What I don't like is getting brined. I mean, what the fuck? Find a vein and get the blood out of there. Jesus. And so now, because I was going to say, I hate pissing in a cup. Why can't they just fucking put a needle in my cock and extract urine? Why not do that? But then I thought about the horrors of them plunging the needle in there and digging around. See, that's the thing. And then urine doesn't live in your cock. It lives in other places. So they'd have to plunge a needle into your balls. Not in your balls. You're just in the general area. Right in your bladder. Yeah, that's right. Folks, this might explain why I'm not a nurse or a doctor of any sort. As if it needed to be explained. Uh, so so I had my physical. What was my point behind having the physical? They were going to do the earwax. Oh, I did the earwax thing in the shower, and I stood there waiting for it to work. Didn't work. Like I just shot the stuff in there. I'm lost. I got to admit, I'm lost, folks, because I got to talking and I rampaged downhill and I lost where I'm at. So I'm going to have to listen to this back in in 8 weeks. Because I'm still so far behind in listening. Although I must admit, I listened to last week's show because I was like, oh, I wonder how that sounded. It sounded great. Jesus Christ, I'm funny. What the hell happened? Why did I stop listening to me? Although I listened to last week's show and I'm comparing it. I'm like, let's call this a Napoleon. I said, oh, this show's a Napoleon or a Neapolitan. How fat am I, folks? Honestly, how fat am I that my show has to be either an ice cream flavor or a dessert? Why can't it be? Why couldn't it have been just you know what? It could have been a terrine of foie gras and chicken. What did I just see? I just saw Chef Ludo make that. Who's Chef Ludo? Folks, I'm obsessed with cooking shows. I cannot stop watching them. Chef Ludo is not on a cooking show. I follow him on Twitter. Folks, I follow like 9 chefs on Twitter. And then they Twitter to the point where they Twitter the food that they're making. They make these amazing terrines. Rick Bayless is in Mexico right now. He's eating fucking, cactus prickly pear and this fucking duck confit in France. And I'm like, dude, you know what? I'm just gonna start twittering pictures of toast. Like I'm gonna start making shit and just be like, look what I made, Captain Crunch, and just take a because everybody else takes pictures of their food and fucking sends it around. I'm gonna do, you know what? Why not? I'm jumping on the bandwagon. Although I have posted pictures of sushi in the past, have I not? I think I have. I don't know. Uh, which, by the way, that right now everybody went, oh, well then that's why we don't follow you on Twitter. That's because you're sending pictures of sushi, you idiot. Food that nobody cares about. And I shouldn't care about it either. Food is just, you know what? Food is pre-shit. That's all it is. Why do I put so much investment in it? Why do I care so much about food? I don't get it. But I am obsessed with watching people, cook it. I'm obsessed with eating it. I'm obsessed with, getting the right kind. And but why? It's just pre-shit. That's all food is. Food is pre-shit, but it looks nicer. That's all it does. Oh, God bless everyone. Ah, jeez. All right, so, folks, I had a physical. And the thing is, all my stuff turned out to be okay there. Uh, although I will, all right, I'll tell you this. This is horrifying, and folks, I apologize ahead of time. My doctor comes in and he's got to give me the once over, and they give me put the electrodes on and the EEG, and they figure everything out. And he's like, "How are we doing downstairs?" And I said, "Oh, I'm fine." And he goes, They always ask if you're having trouble getting it up and all that, which are viable questions now that I'm an old man. And luckily, there is no problem there. And I would tell you if there was, because what the fuck? I just told you that I wanted a needle jammed into my cock. So I told him, I go, no, thankfully, that's the only thing that works. That and I have my hair. That's it. And he's like, well, let me take a look. So he's got to take a look at what's happening. So why is that funny to you that he's got to take a look? It's doctors. I'm sure you've had all sorts of instruments jammed inside of you.
Of this guy looking at you, and
Oh,
you're just like mortified.
well, I don't care. Please, my cock's been on display quite often. It's literally to the point where 5 people should be bidding on it and going into the showcase showdown. That's how much my cock's seen the light of day. Drew Carey should have a thin microphone pointing at my cock. That's what he should be doing. So he's like, well, let me take a look down there. And the thing is, all right, I'll tell you, again, folks, I apologize. This is going to be a visual for you, and enjoy it. That morning, I don't know why I thought to do it that morning, but I did. That morning was shaving morning, all right? That morning was the morning that everything got removed and cleared, and I don't monkey around. I mean, because it's not like, I'm not nicely groomed, folks. I'm a bare floor. I'm not gonna lie to you. Why are you laughing so loudly at that? That is just not. It's common knowledge. So I just happened to do it that day, and I wasn't even thinking. Like it just seemed like, because you know why? Because it was a Thursday. Like I had time off. It's Thursday. Karen had just gone out of town. I'm like, I'm gonna surprise her when she gets back. This is gonna be awesome. And but then I had to go to the doctor. So I go to the fucking doctor. And he's like, well, let me take a look down there. And then, I take my pants off. And again, like he whistles. Like, now, yeah. And he goes, are you shaving this area? And I so much so that I bolted upright. Like I sat up. And I just go, yeah. Like he's the crazy person. That's the stupidest thing. Like, why would I react like that? Like he's nuts. I mean, that guy, he just saw a 43-year-old man whip it out and everything's gone. I mean, it's completely fucking... I mean, it looks the whole area is like a cue ball with a cock hanging off of it. I mean, seriously, it is clean, folks, clean and smooth. And he looks at, and he's just like, "Oh, you're shaving that?" Huh? And I'm like, "Yeah." Like I gave him the shrug, like, "Yeah, whatever." And he's like, "Oh," and he's like, "Calm down." I'm just like, I guess I had because I completely sat up like a zombie, like a zombie with his balls out. I'm just like, "Yes." And he's like, "Calm down," because I just wanted to make sure. Well, that was the thing, is it made me wonder, is there like a disease where only all of your ball and cock hair falls out? Like to that degree? Because again, it was, folks, I'm not going to lie to you. You could have skipped a quarter off of it. It was that goddamn smooth. We're talking like coffee table pane of glass. It was awesome. If you're going to drink around me, you need to put a coaster on it, because otherwise you're going to leave a ring right there around my balls. It was fucking smooth and awesome. And the only thing I could think of was that there's some disease where people lose their crotch hair. To that extent, though? I mean, you could tell, because again, also, I'm not going to lie to you folks. Here's my method. I'll share you with my method, a little bit of it. I have trimmers, like electric trimmers. You go electric trimmer first, and then you bust out your regular razor, and you make that move. And I'm not going to lie to you folks. It's kind of a chore. You're in the shower doing it, and you're moving around, and it gets a little messy sometimes. You get a little nick. I've talked about that before.
Oh, yeah.
Not like, unfortunately, in the past I told you it looked like I was going to have to be rushed to the hospital. But this time around, there's just, nicks. It's like when you shave your face and you wind up nicking, and I'm not going to stick toilet paper all over my fucking cock. That's not happening. So instead, I would rather bleed out like an accident victim. How stupid is that? All right. But his alarm was what really threw me. Like, because then his alarm made me freak out and go, yes. Like, I was alarmed. And then we both had to calm down. And then I had to lay back down and let a grown man handle my balls, which is, and then I asked him, as long as my pants and stuff were down, I said to him, I'm like, hey, you got to take a look at the backyard here? Or how's that working? And he's like, no, because anything will come out in the blood work, I would imagine. And I said, oh, all right. Look, I don't want anybody plunging their fingers into my ass, all right? But at the same time, he said to me, he goes, how old are you? I said, 43. He goes, no, anything should come out in the blood work. So I guess, but I thought every year you're supposed to get that done. That was the whole point of going. Because the rest of me, I can see that the rest of me needs help. I mean, I'm a fat dude who needs to lose weight, and my blood's probably the consistency of fucking strawberry jam, and I get all that. But, I can't check the other thing and know what's going on back there. You know what I mean? It's not like, your prostate's your prostate. It's I can't go back there and go, it's supposed to be an almond, but it turns out it's more of a peanut. I mean, I have no idea what it's supposed to feel like. Jesus Christ. I can't do self prostate exam, right? I mean, I can, but I'm not going to know what I'm looking for. All right. So if any of you know, please alert me. Let me know what it's supposed to feel like. I mean, I guess I would know, because I mean, you're back there all the time anyway, cleaning and getting things squared away in the shower. You are. You can make a face at me, but I am. And I guess if I ever went in there and I was like, holy shit, there's a tennis ball in my ass, then I'd be like, all right, we got a problem. So I guess you would notice. I just don't want anything sneaking up on me. That's the thing is that's why I asked him, you need to get in there? He's like, nah, it'll come out in the blood work. All right. So I guess folks realize that anything that's wrong with your ass will be indicated in your blood work. So that was the physical. So then he calls me Monday, and he's like, "Hey, I got your blood results," and he's all right. You never know what to expect. All right. So he calls me Monday and he goes, "Hey, Mr. Schmidt, this is your doctor." He didn't say he was my doctor. He said his name, but I won't say his name. How weird would that be? I have a doctor from a television commercial. "Hello, Mr. Schmidt. This is your doctor." So he calls me and he's like, "Hey, I got your blood results. Why don't you call me so we can talk about this?" And that, again, you freak. Your mind immediately goes to, "Oh my God, I'm dead." But then in the next sentence he goes, "Everything looks pretty good because I just want to make sure we talk about some stuff." So I was like, all right, well so at least that caveat was there. And I've called him now like 2 days since and missed him because our schedules are all screwed up. So, I mean, I could be dying. I have no idea. I would imagine you would have said, "Come and see me" at some point, or Mike, upon further review, your blood says I need to put my fingers in your ass. So, like, all right. I mean, if you think it is, that's what my blood says to you. Because, they put it in a super hadron collider, and they spin it around, and it makes a big blood spirograph with an arrow pointing at my ass. All right, so, yeah, so I had a physical. And it's funny, I will tell you this, because I have a new doctor that I really like. I used to have an old doctor, I think I told you guys about him, and he was, when I say he was my old doctor, I don't only mean that he was my doctor from the past. I mean, he was like 97 years old. He was the guy who every time I kept coming in, he kept rediscovering me. Like, "Oh, how are you, young man?" I'm like, "Great, I've seen you, for the past 6 years. So, you don't recognize me, sir? Shouldn't you know who I am at this point? Because, you've handled my balls. You've had your fingers in my ass. This is all I do with doctors, folks." So, he was our doctor for like the first 10 years when we lived here. And then he started to forget stuff, and he started like making these weird comments because he didn't know who we were. And we would talk to his receptionist and say, "Hey, what's going on?" And she'd like, "Yeah, he's having a tough time." And so we finally decided we were going to change doctors. So we had to transfer. And unfortunately, because we were with him for, like I said, about 10 years, then you have to look at your plan. And which, by the way, I'm not going to have this problem in a month. But we had to look at our plan and find a guy. And so I've had 4 different primary care physicians since him. But we finally settled on this one who we really like, and now we've had him for almost 2 years. So during my physical, he's like, "Hey, I was looking for something, and I don't have this record." And I said, "Oh, man, would it be at – because I've had so many other doctors." And he goes, "Well, maybe it's at your first doctor's office." I said, "Okay." Well, I said, "Should I call over there?" And he goes, "Nah, don't worry about it." He goes, "It's not that big a deal, but it's just something I'd like to have." So I said, "Okay." I left the physical, and I was coming home, and I figured I would just stop by my old doctor's office. Now, I had heard that he retired, but the building is right by my house. So I said, well, it seems like it's still open. It's got an open sign, so maybe he's still working, or maybe other doctors are in there and they still have the records, which, by the way, would be horrible, wouldn't it? What if he retired and he's just like, "Yeah, just put all my old records in the back room, and then I got to go back there and rummage through everybody's fucking mammograms to find my goddamn ass photos." So I stopped. I said, "All right, well, I'll just stop in there." So I drove by, and there was an open sign, and I busted a U-turn, and I parked. And I walked inside, and it had like horrible door chimes on the door, like, really loud clanging. And I walk in to my old doctor's office, and my old doctor's office is an Asian massage parlor. Uh, and I walked in. Now, I should tell you, I had my physical on the 30th. This was the 31st that I happened to be driving by, and I go, "Well, I'll stop in there." So I do a U-turn, and I bust in, and feeling these huge chimes, and an Asian woman, she stands up, and that piece of paper on the wall, $40 half hour, $60 hour, all that stuff. And she goes, "Oh, you want me? Look, I can't do the broken English here because it's gonna be fucking horrible. But just suffice it to say, barely any English came out of this woman." And she stood up and she's like, oh yeah, massage for you, Happy New Year." And I'm like, "No, I'm sorry, I thought it was a doctor's office. That's fine." And she goes, "Oh no, no more doctor, no massage now, massage though. But your back hurt? We give you a massage now." And I was like, I mean, the hard sell came at me. And I go, "No, I'm okay. I thought it was a doctor's office. I was looking to see if my records were there." And she goes, "Oh, not me. You don't want me? You want her? You want her instead? Hello?" And another woman comes out of the back because again, now they think I'm picking. Look, folks, I don't know if you've ever been in a massage parlor before. I have been in massage parlors, but I had an incident once that I talked about on here. Where a woman grabbed my cock like it was a phone. Like she's literally like, "Oh, hello," and just shaking it to see if I wanted any action, which of course I didn't, folks. I'm a moral man. So this woman, they bring in the other chick, and then she immediately goes, "Oh, Happy New Year." She goes, "I give you hour for $50." And I said, "I know. I was looking for. I just want to leave, but now they won't stop talking. They're like me. You know what they are? They're like little Asian versions of me who just keep talking and talking and talking until I'm going to cave in and give in to something. Like they just won't stop. They're just relentlessly hammering me. Oh, you don't want her? You want her? Oh, we give you a deal for New Year. Happy New Year, $50 for 1 hour." And I go, "Look, no. I thought it was a doctor's office." And they go, "No, no, no doctor's office. Just come back right now. You come in." And she opens the door and she takes my hand and she goes to walk me in the back. I don't know if they haven't had a customer in years. I don't know what the fuck the two of them are doing, but she starts to grab my hand and because I guess they figure I'm shy I'm like, they didn't believe my story that I thought it was a doctor's office, even though it says medical building on the outside. And she goes to like kind of pull me in the back, and then she's holding my hand. I go, "No, I'm okay. I'm fine. Thank you." And I half expected them to just tackle me at that point and just, pin me down and give me a hand job and take my wallet. I mean, I don't know what the fuck was going to happen. But she's pulling my arm, kind of, and I like a child would to go, "Come look at this." It was just crazy. I guess she figured if she got me in the back, they closed the door. Well, then fuck, there's nothing. All right, you know what? I'm trapped now. Here's my cock. So she's holding my hand, and she's like doing this weird thing. She's holding it and stroking it like a cat on the other side. She's going, "Oh no, we give you $50 for Happy New Year. You come in." She goes, "Oh, you know what? You want." You want both? You want both? She's like trying to talk me into a forehand, and I'm like, "Look, no, dude, no." And I kind of gently take my hand away, and I go, my doctor used to be here. I was just checking to see if my records were here. So now I'm like, no, I'm in Full Metal Jacket. You know what I mean? Where I'm like negotiating, and but I'm not really negotiating. Although let's face it, we're all negotiating at all times. And I go, "No, I'm going to go." She goes, "Oh no, it's okay, you can stay." And I go, "No, I'm sorry." And I start walking toward the door, and I get to the doorknob, and I go, "Thank you." And she goes, "Tell your friends." Tell them what? Tell them that I barely escaped with my sperm intact? Tell them what? I can't even understand what you would want me to say to them. How is that something you share among your friends? "Hey, fellas, guess what? You want to know where to get a hand job? Because I know just the fucking place." That's not polite company discussion. That's not, "Hey, Happy New Year. Let's bust open a cork and bust open a cork." I mean, that doesn't happen. Tell your friends. I loved it. Like she couldn't get me. There must have been something in I guess maybe because I didn't flee in terror, they assumed that I was maybe on board. But "tell your friends" is my favorite thing I've ever heard at a handjob house. That's the greatest thing of all time. Tell your friends. And who am I kidding? Maybe on board. I stood there the whole time. I knew what I was doing. I'm just so fascinated by Vice and stuff that I can't do. It's like I will just sit there. I'm willing. Look, I'm willing to hear an offer. I'm not going to lie to you. Doesn't mean I'm like, my wife's out of town for 10 days. Who knows what I'm going to do? And honestly, I had my physical the day before, and he was reluctant. Maybe I have her take a look in the backyard. You know what I mean? She's obviously well versed in being back there and taking a look at what's going on. Maybe she plunges a couple of fingers in there and goes, "Oh, almond to peanut, you're in trouble, pal." That's fine, because it's my old doctor's office. I'm used to doing doctor things in there. So look, I can show you the very room in this building that I've had somebody put their fingers in my ass. Why don't we go back and relive that experience? And I'll give you my Blue Cross card, and you can go ahead and call them for payment. Because, folks, I'm sorry, I'm not going to come through with any cash for this. But the last thing I need is to go back there with her, and she goes ahead and takes a look in the back and goes, "All right, looks like everything's fine. Flip over." I do, and she goes, "Oh, you're You shaving right here, right? Yes? Tell your friends.
You're listening to The 40-Year-Old Boy on the Mike Schmidt Podcasting Network. Coming up next, apocalyptic rock fight.
You're listening to The 40-Year-Old Boy, and later, Pod Gods. Dallas and Parker bring professionalism to a fledgling industry.
They're in the top 100, so they're doing something right, I guess. So, hey, Parker, that's my door. I got to get the pizza.
I don't get how they
take
could
it from
be
here,
there
okay? Just go ahead and take it.
in
I'll
the
be
top
back.
100. I don't. What? Dallas? Dallas.
How much?
Is the recording still? How much for what? The show's free.
Podcasting done right. Pod Gods on the Mike Schmidt Podcasting Network.
Dallas.
Lily is saying dirty things, folks. That's not good. Not a fan. We're the only people in here, and she says a dirty thing, and then I got to look around for like some sort of awkward comedic relief, and there's nothing. Just piles and piles of things. She was telling me earlier she's going to the Magic Castle, and she lives there basically because she's there saying all sorts of, but you have to say magic words to go in.
Yes.
And which are, she said she goes to the door and it's not hocus pocus. You have to say open sesame. Is that what you got to say? You got to say that, and then the door opens to the Magic Castle, and then you go in and watch people link rings. I don't know what the fuck is going on there, but it's so funny. She keeps asking me to go. Like she's being very nice. I shouldn't say asking me like, oh please go. She's just casually inviting me if I want to go because they go all the time. Because Eddie's a magician and Lily's a mag hag, I guess you'd call it. She loves magic, so she's a mag hag, and she's always like, you should go. And I actually entertained it once because Karen would like to go, and I said, well, sure. And she's like, well, hold on, you need to wear a suit. And I think I've covered this on here before. It's like I don't want to wear a suit. I won't be buried in a fucking suit, let alone wear a suit to see a guy say Alakazam. And then I'm gonna walk out of there. I'm gonna put on a nice suit to come out smelling like smoke and bird feathers. No, I don't think so. So I've refused her offers. But the thing that makes me laugh is not only is the suit is an obstacle, and it's good because I can always use that as an excuse not to go whenever she invites me. But also at the same time, just the very fact that you need to use magic words to walk in the front door, doesn't she realize that's enough to keep me out of the fucking Magic Castle? I don't need to go. You start giving me it's the greatest thing of all time. When you walk in, a guy's going to take your nose, and you're not going to get it until you go back home. Oh, no thanks. I'm not in. If the suit will always be an obstacle for me, but the suit is merely a surrogate for me wanting to say, I'm sorry, I'm not interested in finding out where rabbits come from. I don't want to see. Unless Job's going to be there from Arrested Development and, the final countdown rings out and he pops out and does something great, then I'm in. Come on! Folks, I don't know if you watched Arrested Development, and it's on IFC now. Occasionally, if I catch it, I have to sit there and watch it. But the character of Job is right up there with George Costanza as one of the greatest characters of all time in the history of television. Come on! God damn it! Throwing the fucking change in the air. Jesus Christ, is Job hilarious. Oh, man, is it funny. All right, so if he's there, if he's at the Magic Castle, bullshit. I'll say, abracadabra and let a guy fucking, spill ink on me and then it disappears and then turn rice into water, whatever they do. I don't know what they do there. All I know is I'm not going to be there to see it because I'm not putting on a tie. I won't put on a tie to go see Jesus. Karen invites me to go to church, but she's like, you got to dress up. And I'm like, not even to make my wife happy and visit the Lord will I put on a tie. The last thing I'm going to do is do it to visit a count with his wand and his fucking cape. If you told me, I'll tell you what, if they told me Jesus was going to show up and do magic tricks, then I get dressed up. We combine them. I go ahead and get dressed up if Jesus shows up and turns, as the fish thing. That's fine. I'm in. He's got a track record, that guy. If I was Jesus, you should just show. If I was Jesus, where am I going? Why would I even say that? It's the dumbest thing of all time. But if you were Jesus, and because you're supposed to walk on water, I would show up and just do a bunch of bullshit, nothings. I would dump a glass of water on the floor and then walk on it and be like, yeah, check this out. And they'd be like, dude, anybody can do that. And he'd be like, oh, I'm Jesus. I wouldn't even question it. I'd be the worst Messiah of all time. I would just be a Jagoff Messiah. All right. We can't use Jagoff. Don't write it down. We already used Jagoff in last week's title. Unless we just call the show the 40-Year-Old Jagoff from now on. Speaking of that, folks, this Jag Offrey is sponsored by tweakedaudio.com/40. And that's the number 40. And I can tell you very much, with all of my meetings with all the board and stuff like that there, they agree with me. They hate Jesus. All right, so see, that's incorrect. They feel that way. I don't. I don't hate Jesus. I think he's a good guy. I think he's fantastic. I just want him to come down and be like a schnook. But they, however, very anti-Jesus and pro-earwax holocaust over there at tweakedaudio.com/40. I'm doing whatever I can to sever this relationship. I'm like, it's going well. Thank you all, anybody who's gone ahead and bought earbuds from tweakedaudio.com. They did not get back to me on my food-related earbud idea. I'm shocked. I'm sure it's in the works at R&D over there. They and I want to change the name from earbud. You know what? I want to just call them wax corks. That's what I want to call them because that's all they are. I jam them in my ears to keep the wax volcano from exploding all over the place. And I can tell you, you're never going to find a better wax cork than you will at tweakedaudio.com/40. If you're worried about your earwax spilling out and you don't want to put it on a train to a death camp, if you don't want to fill a train to a death camp full of your earwax, then by all means plug your ears with ear corks from tweakedaudio.com/40. Oh man, I don't know what's going to happen. I'm going to get an email at some point cutting me loose, but that's okay. You guys have been you know what? As long as you guys keep buying earbuds, they're going to tolerate this nonsense, I think. We'll see. We will push the limits of corporate America/Canada. I don't even know where Tweaked Audio is based. They could be next door. They could be based here in this fucking building. I have no idea. But because everybody exists on the internet. That's all that exists. The internet. Because that's what takes care of you from now on. If you want anything done, turn to the internet. If you're a fucking homeless guy in the street with a sign that says you used to have a job with a good voice, sure enough, the internet's gonna fix you. God damn it. I watched that story yesterday. I'm sure you've all seen it. The homeless guy with the amazing voice. And I didn't watch the clip at first because it said he had golden pipes, and I thought he was a singer. And I'm like, look, I see enough homeless people singing in my day. You walk down the street, every homeless guy's got that cute sign, I need a beer, why lie? He'll be dead in 18 months. All right. What a card. Holy, I tell you what, give that guy a Sharpie and a piece of cardboard. He is hilarious. Surrounded in his cocoon of stench. I'm not a fan, folks. I don't mind the homeless, and I try to help them, and I try to have empathy, and I do whatever I can. But when I saw that, it's a homeless guy with golden pipes, hidden talent, and I'm like, oh, dude. Anytime you talk about a hidden talent of a homeless guy, you should just call homeless people the hidden people, all right? Because they're on the fringes and always there. They're underfoot, and nobody notices and nobody cares. But then, of course, when this guy shows up, and then, all right, here's the thing. So I finally watched the clip because they said he had a radio voice. I'm like, well, I got to see this, and then I watched it. And I thought it was fake. All right, the second he opened his mouth and talked, I went, well, that's phony. They dubbed that in. There's no way. But then when they continued to interview him, and I went, oh, my Christ, that guy, I mean, that's... And all I could think was like, I wish I had a radio voice. I used to think that I had a radio voice until I met my friend David, who has an unbelievable radio voice. And I was like, holy God. Because it just, again, it sounds like it's coming from the depths of hell, which maybe that doesn't sound right. I mean, it's just...
It was.
Well, you might think so. But just that thing from like way down by your balls, it just comes like just booming out of you, which is amazing. But that guy started talking, and I went, holy shit! And I thought to myself, man, I got to start smoking crack. I mean, because obviously that's what he did to his vocal cords, right? He must have done something. Like all the years of abuse went ahead and fucked his vocal cords up to the point where he got a magic voice. That's awesome. That's what crack and booze will do for you, folks. It gives you a magic voice. And but then the story was done in such a weird. This shows you the fucking depths reporters will sink to, okay? That guy probably noticed him with the sign, and then he did his voice, and he heard his voice and was enchanted by it and went, I got to make this guy a story. So they made him stand out on the street corner with his fucking sign and pulled up with a camera to film him talking. They couldn't bring him into the studio and talk to him. They couldn't go, hey, I found a dude. We got to... No, they had to capture the homeless idiot in his natural habitat to give us the hook for the story. And I guess it worked because fucking that thing's got almost 3 million views now on YouTube. But then here's the worst part. They interviewed the guy, and his voice, again, it was an amazing voice. Like, anybody who heard it should immediately gone, well, yeah, we got to hire this guy right away to do a voice thing. But then you need to realize this guy's a junkie. I mean, there's a reason he's on the street in camouflage with a fucking cardboard sign with a paragraph and a half on it that nobody could read. So you might want to think twice before handing this guy the keys to the kingdom. I don't know if anybody's doing that, quite frankly. Nobody's making him president. Is that what a president is? I don't know if that's president gets keys to the kingdom. But then, so all right, so then they interview the guy, and he seemed like a nice man. He seemed down to earth. Unfortunately, everybody gets down on their luck, and maybe they need a hand up, and that's fine. But then I wake up this morning, and the story went fucking bananas. I mean, apparently the guy's been inundated with job offers in a day. And again, as I just mentioned, this is a little dangerous. I mean, this guy. This guy was a father of 9, and now he's a junkie who lives on the streets. Maybe we don't start handing him jobs right off the bat. And I don't say this just as a man who's jealous about the fact that he's put out a show for 3 years on the internet and not gotten any notice whatsoever. Okay? I'm certainly I can separate my personal feelings from it. I just think, because I read today that the Cleveland Cavaliers have offered him a job, a 2-year contract. This guy didn't know where he was going to be 20 minutes from now, and you're trying to book him down for 2 years, for Christ's sake? And again, by all means, help the guy. We need to help this guy. But Cleveland, it's on you when this guy shows up at a game and staggers out onto the court like fucking Dennis Hopper and Hoosiers, okay? Once this guy starts telling you all to fuck off in that beautiful voice, you're going to probably want to think twice about the fact that we gave a crackhead a 2-year contract. Although, how hard is it going to be to break a contract with a crackhead? I mean, seriously. Literally, he's going to go, you're going to say, you're fired. He's going to go, what about my contract? And you're going to go, hey, look at this. Hold up a crack pipe and throw it. And he's going to go run, and you're going to lock the door behind him. That's it. Done. But even worse, I help the guy. Let's all help this guy. I think he's fantastic. And, I'm certainly not jealous of the fact that I have been doing a quality show on the internet for 3 years and nobody's taken notice of it at all. And yet this guy is panhandling for dimes and gets a fucking job. A 2-year deal with the Cavs. Are you shitting me? You deserve what you get, Cleveland. No wonder LeBron left. He wouldn't want to be around to see this tragedy unfold. But then I interview the guy, and look, again, I feel bad for the guy. I don't feel bad for him. Good for him. I feel good for him. I'm glad that things are changing in his life. Again, might want to find out a little more about his backstory before you start locking him down into long-term deals, but that's fine. That's your guys. It's your prerogative and your choice. But that's the problem, too, is that, people like that get chewed up and fucking spit out. I mean, if in 3 weeks he does something bad, they're just going to fucking get rid of him, and then he's back on the street in his goddamn jacket. And by the way, I will say this, too. They had an interview with him this morning on CBS. Good get, by the way, CBS. But even worse, and by the way, like I said, the 3 million people have seen him on YouTube, more than saw him on the early show on CBS. Nobody watched. Go to the Today Show. Hold out, Golden Pipes. Go to the Today Show, for Christ's sake. Talk weather with Al Roker. Do something. Have Matt Lauer ask you about yourself. But no, you go on and talk to nondescript white guy and hot white girl who nobody knows her name. Good for you. But then they're talking to him, and here's the thing. He shows up on CBS. I see the clip this morning. And for some reason, CBS found it necessary before the interview to take this guy and turn him into a white guy. I don't know why. Because I think if there's one thing I can say about this guy, it's, he has a great voice. Hold on. I need a second thing to say about this guy. He was on the street, and he looked kind of cool. I thought he looked almost like a movie character. He had his camouflage jacket on, and I thought his hair looked great. He had kind of like a shock of hair. It was up in the air, and he didn't look like your typical homeless guy who's, being followed around by Lucy and Linus with a fucking dirt cloud around him, okay? He just looked like a cool guy who was on the street asking for dough with a cardboard sign with a paragraph that nobody could fucking read. I don't know how he signed that contract. I can't even imagine what his handwriting looked like on it. Anyway, all right. Because his hands are frozen it's like action figures. You know when you buy action figures, G.I. Joe with the Kung Fu grip? This guy's got crack pipe grip. I almost couldn't get that out. It made me laugh. I thought of it. This guy's homeless man with the crack pipe grip. All right. So his hands are gnarled into the crack pipe. All right. So, goddamn, that's funny. Believe me, if the rest of this is garbage, that made up for it. All right. But so they get him on fucking CBS to interview him, and they cut his hair off. All of his character is gone. They've removed all of his character. He's still got the voice, right? The voice is always going to be there. But as we've learned, after years of abusing himself with drugs and alcohol, he still has the fucking amazing voice. Or again, like I said, maybe it became about because of his years of abuse. Who knows? Maybe I'll put that theory to the test. But they've got him in like a sweater vest and like a button-down shirt, kind of like a pastel look, and then they cut his hair off. Why? Look, America understands the story. We saw him on YouTube. We saw him in the street. We saw what he looked like. You don't need to turn him into Carlton from the fucking Fresh Prince of Bel-Air for us to go ahead and empathize with the guy, all right? Did you feel you needed to do that to make him palatable for morning audiences? Is that true? I have expected him to bust out the dance. He was going to bust out the Carlton, man. Woo! That would have been fucking awesome. And why not? He's just, and let's be honest, in 3 weeks, folks, at the Richfield Coliseum, you're going to be watching a Cavaliers game, and he's going to go, you know what? Fuck all this. Take 3 pulls off a crack pipe and do the Carlton right there at center court. That's it. All because you gave him a 2-year contract that you can't break. Good for you, folks. Out of the goodness of your heart. You gave a junkie a 2-year future. Good for you. That's horrible. How do you break that contract with the junkie? You know how you do it? Again, hold the door open, go here, crack pipe, fetch, close door, lock, he runs. Done. I'm being unnecessarily mean to a man who's gotten a second chance. Why? You know why? Because I haven't gotten a first chance. Fuck that, goddammit. I need a chance. Give me a goddamn chance. I've actually had a chance. I don't know if you're aware of this, folks, but I'm about to star in a television show for tweakedaudio.com/40. They decided, you know what? We need to go and move into the visual realm as well as have our fucking earwax volcanoes plugged. All right. I just want to give a guy a chance. No, I don't. I've had offers. You know what? Actually, there was a guy, I can't talk about it, but there was a guy who offered us a job. He offered Lee and I a job. He offered me a gig off of this and then disappeared. It was like this weird, I can't even talk about it. I signed a non-disclosure agreement, folks, so there you go. Take that. I'm glad I started this story. What a fucking dope. Who am I kidding? I'm a fucking security guard. I can't get past that. That's who I am. That's who I am. New Year's night. Fucking New Year's night. I'm sitting in there guarding the building and the cars from what? From 2012? I don't know. They wanted to make sure it didn't come early, so I had to guard the fucking building New Year's night. Oh, Jesus. I had to make sure Baby New Year didn't come in and shit on the hood of a car. God damn it. What a terrible life. All right. Yeah, that's right. And I don't mean to piss and moan about it. Whatever. Everybody's got a job. Other people are working on New Year's Day, New Year's Eve, whatever. I had to work. But the thing is, it was, Karen's gone, and I didn't do anything on New Year's Eve. Did I mention that already? No. I went to had sushi, and then I went home. That's all I did. And I answered emails. Some of you may have gotten emails from me on New Year's Eve. Lonely. But I had to work New Year's Day in the evening, and it was horrible weather here. It was freezing and fucking... And look, you guys got 30 inches of snow. You don't want to hear me bitching about it being freezing. I get it. But it was, man. It was cold and rainy. And the thing is, the building where I work is... I don't know if it's falling apart. I don't know what's happening over there. But every time it rains, there's horrible leaks. Like there's a leak in a hallway, and then there's a leak down in the lobby by me. And as I've told you folks, when I work there, I'm just guarding the building. I'm a statue. All right, I'm a cigar store Indian. I want to get into the office and just sit there and not do anything until I get bored, and then I want to run around in circles, and then I break dance or whatever the fuck. I go outside, walk the perimeter. I walk through the hallways and sneak around and listen to people talking in their houses. Yes, I do that. All right, so I heard some drunk guy having this long-ass conversation. The best part is he was talking to someone who was trying to help a drunk person. So he's trying to tell them to get, if he threw up, turn him on his stomach. He's giving them that whole speech. But he's loaded himself. I'm waiting for him to die from alcohol-related poisoning. But he's trying to talk this other person through a horrible situation. And I'm laughing to the point where I wanted to knock and go, hey, I could probably fix this for you. I mean, if you want me to get involved. That guy has I can't say, but that guy has a job. He has a Hollywood job. Like I know, I'm a spy, folks. I'm sneaky. All right, so this particular night I walk in and there's this leak in the lobby, man. I mean, it is just, and there's like a mop bucket and a mop, and apparently the leak had been all over and they cleaned it up, and now they've got this gigantic trash can, and it had been, all right, when I left, I worked Tuesday night, and everything was there was leaks and stuff, and it was wet, and the rug in the office had gotten soaked. And I was like, they're going to have to tear this fucking rug up. I mean, it's just going to fucking stink. It's going to be terrible. Well, I got to work on Saturday, and hey, everything was still the same. The rug was still in place, although the rug, by this time, they had a wet dry vac, one of those gigantic, huge. And the owner of the building came downstairs. He's like, all right, do me a favor. Don't empty this trash can. Because I usually I would have to go empty the trash can and dump it down a grate. And again, stuff, folks, I don't want to do because I don't want to touch anything. I want to live my own life and not get dirty or touch things that I have to go get horrible. All right. Am I conveying my horror? I don't know if I am. So when I would come to work that week, there was a small trash can, and I would have to I emptied it 3 times a night. I would have to walk it out to a grate and dump it out. Well, this time I come to work, and it's a gigantic, one of those huge industrial-sized garbage cans. And the guy who owns the building comes downstairs, and he takes the wet dry vac, and he sucks all the water out of the garbage can. And he said, all right, I did the rug in here. And I go, well, don't you got to tear this rug up? And he's like, no, it's indoor-outdoor. You can do whatever you wanted to it, and it's fine. He goes, it'll never mold. It's not going to be a problem. And in my head, I'm like, well, yeah, it's not going to be a problem because you get to go back to your apartment. I have to sit in an office that smells like a wet dog's ass, like all night, because that's exactly what it had that funky, horrible, wet dog ass smell. Oh my God, it was terrible. But he's a nice guy and again pays me and I don't care. I'm there. I need this job, so I got to shut the fuck up and everything's fine. At least now when I walked in and I saw that gigantic garbage can, I'm like, dude, there's no way I'm carrying that motherfucker out and dumping it because the leak has just gotten more intense now. Oh, it's just grim. I mean, every terrible, again, 2011, I walk in and that's how I start my fucking year. I walk into this huge leak. As if the rest of my years haven't been leaking success. Now I got to watch this leak happen right in front of my fucking face. So I go into the office. At least I don't have to empty the giant can, but I have to listen to it all night. Fucking pour. It's essentially pouring into that garbage can, and I have to hear it. Time goes by. Revelers arrive. Look at me askance because I'm working. It's just that deal, and it gets to be late. It's like 3:30 in the morning. I haven't seen anybody in a long time. But people were coming in and out, and, they're loud. They're noisemakers. I feel like the Grinch. I feel like the Grinch watching the Who's and resenting them. Because they're galumplers in the lobby celebrating the new year 2011 as I sit there freezing in a dog-ass fucking office, smelling it. Ugh. It was essentially as if I had my face pressed into a dog's ass all night long. All right, so. Like 3:30 in the morning, 4 in the morning. This woman comes in, and I see people. There are some people that I see every night because they have night jobs or whatever, and I see them, but I don't recognize this woman. She lives in the building, whatever. And she staggers in like Foster Brooks, and you guys are too young to know what I'm talking about. She looks like she's so drunk and high. Like her eyes, when she walked in, you ever take a red eye in a photo? She had that when she walked in the door. That's how fucking high and drunk she is. She looked like she'd been smoking a bong full of whiskey. I mean, that's how fucking out of it she is. And she staggers in, and I'm not lying, staggers, like kind of shuffles and staggers. And she walks in, and I look at her and I go, how you doing? And I keep working on my computer and pretending that I'm doing something, so I don't have to say anything more than how you doing. And she goes, hey, hi. Hi. And I refuse to look up. Hi. Third hi, I got to look up. And I go, hey, hi. She goes, what are you doing? I said, oh, I'm working here on the computer. I'm not working, folks. I'm not working at all. But I'm pretending that I'm working so this woman will leave me alone. And she says, Happy New Year. I said, oh, Happy New Year to you. Immediately bury my face in my laptop and pretend to type. And I should say she's out in the lobby, so she's looking at me through the windows, and I have the door open, but she's up on the other side. She comes around, and the best part is the leak with the gigantic garbage can is right in front of the office. So she goes to come into the office, but she's confronted by this giant garbage can filled with water. So she's so drunk. You ever see a drunk person try to put a key in a lock? She has to figure out her way past this puzzle, this huge fucking garbage can. And now I'm happy because now this garbage can that I resented earlier is a moat to prevent me from having to deal with fucking drunk Susan. So I'm just staring at my laptop and I see her walk around and I see her stop and actually ponder, like she makes the face and she actually pouts her lip out like, to figure out how to get past this lock to get into the office. And I'm like, oh, she's not. And it's not that hard, folks. Again, all you got to do is angle your body one way and zip in, but she's so fucking loaded, she can barely put one foot in front of the other, and she's not soon walking across the floor. So she's standing there, and she's puzzled by the garbage can, and she goes, hi! Like she forgot she said hello to me. But now she's closer, so we're now talking not just through windows, we're talking like through like just an open doorway face to face, sort of, except for the fact she's behind a fucking waterfall. So I said, hi. And she goes, Happy New Year. And I was like, yeah, Happy New Year. It's not wondering if she's retarded. All right, not just drunk, but retarded. And then she kind of leans to one side to get past the garbage can, and she realizes she's not going to make it. So she comes back, and she literally backs around it. Like backs through the crevice to make sure she doesn't get wet, and she backs through, and then she kind of emerges into the office like she just got, like someone, like the garbage can gave birth to her. Okay, that's what it was like. And she flumps into the office and hits her ass on the door and just starts cracking up laughing, and then sits down on the floor. The wet rug, the fucking wet ass rug. Oh, it just sits plop, and I hear her splash, and she's still laughing like, like that silent laugh. You know what she's laughing like? You're not gonna get this. It's gonna date me. If you ever saw Animal House, there was this chick. She was 13, and Otter winds up banging, or not Otter, Pinto winds up banging her, and then he brings her home in a shopping cart, and she makes this silent face and kind of waves. That's what this chick's doing. She's like silently laughing on the ground, like. It just waves and hits herself in the leg, and I'm like, oh, now she's in the office. Now I got to deal with her. And she's sitting in this fucking puddle. I mean, I can see it. When I walk, it splooshes. It comes over my shoes. It's that wet. And I go, you need some help up? And she goes, no. And I go, come on. And so I get up and I help her up. And when I help her up, she's like, thank you. And I mean, dude, it hits me. Okay? This stench. All right. So she wasn't just drunk. She'd been out, like, I don't know, heavy partying or whatever, but it smelled like a whiskey-soaked jockstrap. Does that make any sense? Just this fetid, I don't know how you pronounce it, but just stink. Like, and it smelled like you poured booze under your arms instead of deodorant. Like that, it's like that kind of mix. Oh, dude, and it was terrible. So I help her up, and she's, thank you, and then she goes and sits down there's a chair in front of my desk, and she just plops down in front of me. So now I have to talk to her. Like, I don't want to. I want her to go up to her house. So I go and I sit down at my desk and I go, oh, did you go to a party tonight? And she's like, yeah. Happy New Year. And I said, yes. And I said, you should go upstairs, man. You should go take a shower or, take a hot shower or go to sleep or something. I go, where do you live? She goes, upstairs. Which is you know what? That's a pretty good answer. Because I don't think she lives in the parking garage, so that narrows it down to floor 1, 2, or 3. She says she lives upstairs, and I said, oh, okay. I said, well, you should head upstairs. You get a shower and stuff. And she's like, oh, yeah. And then she dips her head and just closes her eyes on this chair in the office. And I'm pretending to look at my laptop, and I look at her, and she kind of like snore chokes. And I go, oh, hey, hi. I go, and she kind of pops her head up. I go, you probably shouldn't sleep in here. Come on, you got a warm bed and a hot shower upstairs. Just go upstairs. And she's like, yeah, I know. I'm tired. And I go, yeah. She goes, it's so cold outside. And I go, yeah, it's terrible. It's the worst. I go, it's not good for now I'm making small talk. I'm like, it's not good for the new year. They started off like with this bad weather, right? And why am I trying to talk to fucking stenchy armpit whiskey chick? I don't know why I'm trying to have a conversation with her now, but I'm so uncomfortable. I don't want to just fucking order her upstairs. So I'm like, yeah, it's terrible weather. She goes, yeah, it's so cold and wet outside. And I go, yeah, and then you sat on the rug. You got to go upstairs and change, man. I mean, you're soaked now. She goes, yeah, you're right. Happy New Year. I said, yes, Happy New Year. She goes, yeah, it's New Year's. ducks her head again. I'm like, no, you can't, no. And she's like, huh? I go, you can't sleep here, seriously. I go, it's go upstairs. Like, you want me to walk you up to your apartment? I can walk you up. She's like, no, that's okay. And I said, all right. I go, well, here. I go, you can't sleep in the office, but just go upstairs. It's like, come on, I'll walk you right up. Come on, let's go. And I stand up and I help her out of the chair. And I go, come, let go. I'll take you upstairs. What apartment are you in? She goes, I live upstairs. I said, yes, I understand. I said, come on out. And I walk out and I breeze right past the waterfall. She walks up and again makes the face like it's the riddle of the Sphinx. It's like the greatest puzzle in her life. Other than the fact she's going to wake up tomorrow morning in her apartment on the floor with wet pants and not know what the fuck happened. So she kind of like negotiates at night, and she takes my forearm, and I help her past it. And, she's just kind of grimy and sticky. And I'm like, man, what kind of... And now I'm pissed at her friends for dropping her off. That's the thing that drives me fucking crazy. Who the fuck drops their friend off and doesn't walk them in when they're in this goddamn condition? So I walk her into the lobby, and there's a table in the lobby, like a long kind of a coffee table. And people will put like old magazines or books on it. And I said, what apartment are you in? She goes, I live upstairs. And I go, okay, well, here. And I walk over to the elevator, and I push the elevator to get it to come down. And I turn around, and she's now laying on the coffee table. And, folks, again, I don't get into this to be a saint, but I try to be a good guy. I can't just let this woman sleep it off on the goddamn coffee table. I mean, as much as I want to, I'm trying to get her upstairs and get her to her house. And I said, look, it's okay. You can go upstairs. And she's like, Happy New Year. I said, yes, Happy New Year. Come on, the elevator's here. And I go to help her off the coffee table. And now she gets mad, as only drunk people can do. They can go from happy to mad in 3 seconds. So I'm kind of gently shaking her on the coffee table. And she's like, no. And I go, come on, you need to go upstairs. She goes, no! To the point where I actually jumped. And I was like, whoa. And again, I think I've told you folks, I'm always on the lookout for any sort of crime that someone could blame on me. So the last thing I want to do is put my hands on this woman, and then all of a sudden she starts screaming rape in the lobby for 2 reasons. 1, because I'm not a rapist. And 2, I don't want anybody to think that I would rape Soggy Pants McDaniels. That's all I need is for them to do a fucking DNA thing on her goddamn pants. Because I've been helping her up. I grabbed her. It's gonna break bad. At some point, some piece of hair fell off of me, and the next thing you know, I got fucking Ice-T and Richard Belzer asking me goddamn questions. No thanks. So I go, well, look, and I gently shake her, and I jump back, and I gently shake her, and I go, look, you can't be on this table. And she stands up from the coffee table. And I go, good, let's go upstairs. And she walks over. There's these comfortable chairs in the lobby. And I've mentioned these chairs once before when I was attacked by a possum. Because this possum just climbed up on the chair and ruled the roost. And he scared me, and I locked the door, and I would not come out and fight with him any longer. It's a long story. Go find it. I forget what year it is. Year 2, possibly. So she stands up, and she makes her way over toward the elevator, but then stops and then sits down on one of the comfortable chairs. And as drunk people do, like I said, they can go from happy to mad in 3 seconds. Well, drunk people can also go from awake to sound fucking asleep in 3 seconds. So she sits down in the comfortable chair, and I'm not kidding, her ass hits the chair at the same time her chin hits her chest, and she starts fucking choke snoring. Like that noise. And at that point, I decided to cut my losses. I go, you know what? If she's going to sleep it off in this goddamn chair, nothing I can do about it. Not worried about it. So I let her sleep in the chair. I'm not going to touch her anymore. I don't want her screaming at me. I'm not going to fucking get her upstairs. That's fine. So I walk over. I make my way past the caution wet floor sign. And I make my way past the garbage can with the worst leak in the history of leaks. And I go back into my fucking wet dog office and listen to her choke snore for the next fucking hour. Pretend to be working on my laptop. Waiting. Killing time. Just waiting for the fucking new year to start for me. And about 5:30 in the morning, guy comes downstairs that I see a lot, actually. And he walks downstairs, and he emerges into the lobby. He doesn't come down the elevator. He emerges from the stairway. And he walks in, he goes, hey, Mike. Whoa! And I go, what's up? And he goes, did you see this? I go, yeah, she's been out there for like an hour and a half sleeping. And he goes, no, did you see this? And I go, what? And he goes, you need to come out here. So I walk out there, and Soggy Pants McDaniels is sound asleep in the chair, slumped, and has pissed herself and pissed all over the floor of the lobby. Just sitting on the comfortable chair, slumped now onto the floor. I didn't notice, I didn't see when it happened, but she's no longer in the chair, thankfully, but she's on the floor, piss all over the place. And, which doesn't speak well to my security detail, because I'm supposed to know what's going on at all times. As long as I hear her choke snoring, I figure, well, she's still in there. I didn't even know she hit the floor. I didn't take any, because I boxed her out of my fucking head so I could go ahead and work with my iTunes. That's what you have protecting the building. That's how fucking eagle eye I am. So he's like, what are we going to do? And I go, I don't know. I just tried to get her to our apartment. He goes, well, where does she live? And I go, I don't know. But do you know her? And he goes, I've never seen her before.
Oh, no.
And I said, what? And he goes, I don't know who this chick is. I've never seen her before. So I said, well, I think she got dropped off by her friends because she walked into the lobby. And I go, oh, he goes, oh, I don't know her. I've never seen her. And I said, well, maybe. No. Do you think she left like her keys in the door? And so I walk out front to go check the court because I didn't want to look through her pockets, all right? So I walk out front to see if her keys are in the door. And the thing is with the front door, folks, it doesn't close all the way. Like it slams, but then it does a weird thing where it slams and jumps back. So the lock doesn't click. So the door stays open. So anybody can come in to the lobby. I wasn't thinking about that when she came in because it was New Year's and people were just coming in and they were, everybody's walking in. I just figured she was just another one of the New Year's people who lived in the building. So I go out and I open the front door and her keys are not in the door, but there are 2 shopping carts outside filled with junk underneath the canopy for the building. She doesn't live there. Soggy Pants McDaniels lives on the street. And because it was so cold and rainy, she was under the canopy with all of her stuff, and then apparently tried the door and it worked. And that's why she couldn't stop telling me about how cold and rainy it was. Because she lives outside. That would also explain why she didn't want to go upstairs to her apartment. And got so angry when I was going to escort her up there. She doesn't have an apartment. And part of me is like, I guess, grateful to her because she could have absolutely played the role and just made me walk all the way up to, take the elevator up to 3 and walk her around and 2 and 1. And we could have done a whole other hour killing time looking for her goddamn apartment. So I guess I should be happy that she yelled at me and kept me from all that legwork. So I realized she's a homeless chick who's just in the lobby and pissed all over the fucking floor.
Oh my God.
So I don't know what to do. I walk in and she's out of it snoring. So I called the cops. I mean, it's like the only thing you can do. I mean, I'm not going to just roll her out into the curb. Because, again, that's far too much work and she pissed herself. I'm not putting my hands anywhere near this chick. And so I called the cops and the cops came. And they're like, you should notify the manager of the building to fix the lock. And I'm like, yeah, I get that. And so they took her. The cops took her away and left her shopping carts outside.
No.
Yeah. They kind of rousted her, and she's like, huh. And she looks up and she's like, Happy New Year. And they said, yes. And they helped her up. And she was not mean to them. Until they started to take her outside. Then she got a little surly and kind of crazy, and I just tuned myself out of it, and they took her. And so then I'm standing there, and now it's like 10 after 6. I leave at 6. It's 10 after 6. They, finally take it and they'd get her out of there. And it's just a big puddle of piss now in the fucking lobby. And I was supposed to be off 10 minutes ago. I'm not going to lie to you folks. But I also didn't want to be just a jerk and just leave it. I mean, you can't just do that, right? So you got to figure out something to do. So I went into the office and I got all my stuff ready to go, and I went to lock the door and I got everything squared away and left a note and put my stuff in my car, came back in the lobby, picked up the caution wet floor sign from the big leak, walked it over about 5 feet and put it right in the pile of piss. Caution, folks. Wet floor. And left. Because again, folks, I'm a security guard who doesn't do any security. But I also don't mind being a janitor who doesn't do any janitorial work. So since then, her shopping carts have been in the building. Like, she never came back for them. I don't know if she's still in jail or what happened, but her carts are still in the building there. And I put this out to you folks just so you realize that, my 2011 has not started off the way that I thought it would. But I also throw it out there because if any potential employers out there feel like giving her a 2-year contract... go ahead and contact me via email because I could probably get you in touch with her people. You guys can get me at Mike at MikeSchmidtComedy.com. You guys can be my friend at Facebook.com/the40year-old-boy. You can reach me on Twitter or follow me on Twitter at Twitter.com/the40year-old-boy. You can follow our friend Lily Von Stupp on Twitter at Twitter.com/Lily Von Stupp or Twitter.com/MNTs. You can write her a note at Facebook.com/Lily Von Stupp or be her friend there if you want to be. Or if you want to write her a personal note, one that won't be stared at by the peering eyes of Mark Zuckerberg as he sifts through your emails looking to find Asian women to bang. You can go ahead and write her at Lily at burlesque411.com. That's Lily, Lili, at burlesque411.com.
Zazzle.com/40year-old boy. Please buy all his stuff.
I'm changing the game, boss.
I want to remind you folks about the Monday Night Tease every Monday night at the Santa Monica and Vine Club called The Three Clubs. It's a great show, the Monday Night Tease. It's the longest running, most successful, unbelievable burlesque show in the history of Los Angeles. And I happen to know the producer of it, Lily Von Stupp. Hey, Lily. Hi. You have this show that you're doing this week. I understand it's a big theme show.
It's my birthday show.
It certainly is your birthday show, and that means...
Laughing.
Oh, my God, folks. Come and sock it to Lily, please. At her birthday show at the Three Clubs on Santa Monica and Vine. Who will be performing?
Oh my God. Anita Cookie from New York. Lux Lacroix, who is the first runner-up Miss Exotic World 2008.
Lux Lacroix is back in town?
Yeah, here come the judge, baby. Here come the judge.
That's big.
Oh, she's hot.
Exciting.
Who else is performing with me? Mariel Alamode is doing Nancy Sinatra.
Okay.
We've got...
Why wouldn't you get Nancy Sinatra to be Nancy Sinatra? Is she out of town?
She doesn't do a Nancy Sinatra anymore.
She should, with that name.
But
Come on,
Mariel
Sinatra.
Alamode sings as well as takes her clothes off.
Folks,
Yeah.
that's a 1-2 punch.
Yeah, it's an amazing cast. And of course, Dizzy Von Dam is performing again. One ringy dingy.
Mm-hmm. Little Lily Tomlin. All right, so are you performing? Are you in it?
That's a good question.
Still deciding?
I'm still trying to figure out if I'm going to be able to actually dance.
Okay, but you'll be there.
I'm hoping. I will be in the show. I'm doing jokes. I'm in the wall of jokes. I'm in the cocktail party scenes.
Folks, I've talked about this in the past. She's done this theme show, and they built a wall, and I mean... You need to come out just to see the goddamn wall. The hot chicks are one thing, but this wall is like this feat of technological engineering you're not going to be able to believe. So come out to the Laugh-In show just to see the lunatic amount of effort that these burlesque dancers put into their shows. So make sure you come out to the Three Clubs on Santa Monica and Vine. And how about the Burlesque podcast? Is that up and running? Is that ever going to be going again?
It will be going again. again soon. It just still isn't up right now.
If people go to burlesque411.com, they can check out all this information about burlesque
that will
stuff.
have burlesque all across the country. Burlesquepodcast.com can
Oh.
be found on iTunes, and it can be found at burlesquepodcast.com.
burlesquepodcast.com.
And there's some great issues up there that are timeless.
Yeah, there's
I mean,
plenty of
it's
episodes
all
you can go and check out.
interviews, So.
And I can tell you that I was never asked to be involved in Burlesque Podcast, so that makes it doubly exciting for all of you. Go listen to Lily be Lily with real people when she's not being shushed. Want to remind you folks, like I said, you can go to facebook.com/the40year-old-boy and be my friend there. While you're there, on my page, you will find links to pages for Bring Mike to your town. Maybe not your town, but I mean to 7 towns. Australia and Ireland and Austin, Texas and Phoenix and Portland and the Ozarks. Minneapolis, all these people want me to come and visit them, and if you want me to come there, then go ahead and sign up on those pages and tell me that you will come. Again, as I mentioned, we are close in Portland and Phoenix. Because of the holidays, things have been put aside, but I think I should have some numbers or names or information next week. But there will always be the pages that you can join, and go ahead and let me know if you want to come and see me. I found out that Phoenix is actually closer to me than San Francisco. I thought that was weird. It's like 40 miles closer, so I was trying to figure out, am I going to have to fly there? What I'm going to do? If I go, I'm just going to have to drive, I suppose. But and I don't know if Lily will be coming with me or not, but she might be. Who knows? We don't know. But you know who will be coming with me? Nancy Sinultra. Why would I bring her? I don't know, because I don't know if I bring her. She doesn't sing. I don't know if I can bring her now. She's out. You're out, Sinultra. So if you go to my Facebook page, again, you can also join the Westside 86 Jokers. That's the Mike Schmidt Fan Club page on Facebook. You can actually find that through my page as well. And also, if you want to be David Hernandez's friend, you can find him through my page or Lily's page. David Hernandez, who does all the music and the commercials and the artwork for the show, basically all the good stuff for the show. I show up and I talk, and then he fills in everything with all the cool stuff around it and makes it a show instead of a guy just yammering into the fucking darkness. So come and check out, if you want to be David's friend, you can find David Hernandez via my friends, because he has not gotten facebook.com/David Hernandez yet, because he doesn't know how to work computers. But go ahead and be his friend, please. That would be great. Remember to go to MikeSchmidtComedy.com, and if you go there, folks, you can go to the Joe Business page and click on the Zazzle link and go to the Zazzle store and pick up I'm Changing the Game Moth 2011 40-Year-Old Boy calendar. Those are available. And also, of course, the Stripple shirt, the Hanjopica shirt, a bunch of mugs, mouse pad, all that kind of stuff. And always ideas for more stuff that'll be ignored coming to fruition in the future. So go to the Zazzle store and check that out. But again, go to MikeSchmidtComedy.com and go to the Joe Business page and click through there. Also, while you're there at MikeSchmidtComedy.com, you can go to the Joe Business page and pick up the Year 1 or Year 2 download sets. And also, if you want them both, you can pick up the Super Angry Guy Gene Happy Good Time Yelling combo. And I know I've got to think of a better name if I mark it Year 3. I need something longer. So go ahead and pick up those Year 1 and Year 2 if you haven't already, and or pick them up for a friend, or pick up a second one for yourself, because I can guarantee you it's going to be different upon every listen. I can't guarantee it's not valid anywhere in the world. And also, if you want to donate to the show, you can go to MikeSchmidtComedy.com, and up the upper left-hand corner of every single page, there's a little Schmitty with his pocket out. Go ahead and bang on that, and you can donate to the show via PayPal. I've had some people inquire to me regarding Google Checkout rather than PayPal. I can tell you I've talked to my web guy about it, and by talk to him, I mean I sent him an email. And because he sent me emails, and then I didn't answer him for like fucking 2 months. And then I wrote him, and I'm like, all right, so here's a bunch of questions I have, and I'm expecting an answer the next day. I can't do that. This guy's got a family and a life and a job. So I'm trying to get some stuff hammered out, because there's other issues too with the website, because people have asked me about subscribing and being able to just sign up to pay every month instead of doing a once a month donation. So we're getting all of that squared away, folks, talking to the web guy and trying to figure it all out. And I can tell you that, and burlesquebears.com, folks. Don't forget about burlesquebears.com. Those are, it's helping our friend Lily as well with her birthday. She can make you a laugh-in birthday bear if you want. I have no idea what you folks are interested in. But if you want slut bears, by all means, go to burlesquebears.com, and she will go ahead and take care of that and send you a bear with nipples. Oh, awful. It has pasties on, and then you have to think about bear nipples. And no one wants to think. I mean, I like thinking about bear nipples, but I don't want to think about bear's nipples. Ugh. That's horrendous. And aren't they like piglets? Don't bears have like 40 nipples? I have no idea. No? I don't have the Discovery Channel. All right, so go to burlesquebears.com and order a burlesque bear that will be handmade by our friend Lily. And if you're Japanese, maybe she'll throw her panties in for you. Maybe you want something like that. Straight out of a vending machine. You never know. She might. Make sure you mention that in the letter and ask for him. We'll see if she can take care of you. She's saying no, but again, if you offer enough money, I'm betting that she'll do it. Because I know I would. Fuck, right me. Christ. I'll put you in contact with Soggy Pants McDaniels, and she can go ahead and send you her Soggy pants. That smelled like a wet dog's ass floor. All right. That's awful. Why do I bring her back up? It was over. I had let it go. It was all behind me. Karen's out of town. I got to go pick her up tomorrow from the airport. I'm excited. She's been gone for like 10 days. And so then I sit in the house and stare, and I go, man, what if this was my life? Because if she wasn't around, this is what my life would be. I'd be sitting in the house and staring and trying to figure out what falafel to go eat. Oh, man. God, I love falafel. All right. But you know, it's funny because there's a guy in my building, and he invited me to watch football with him. You know what I mean? Like to kind of hang out. And he invites people in the building, not just me. That would be creepy. Hey, you, come over. Odd. But with Karen gone, I actually kind of considered it. But here's the thing. This guy, I like him a lot. He's a nice man. When I say I like him a lot, I mean I like him to say hello and keep walking. But he's sick, all right? And I mean like ill. Like I've lived there for like 13 years. So he caught like a disease or something. And I don't know what it is, but it's that thing where you don't want to ask him about it. But it's, there's the scuttlebutt around the building where he'll like, people are like, oh, did you hear about, Bob? And I'm like, what? And I'm like, oh, geez. And I'm not using his real name. So don't think that Bob, who lives in my house, if you come by and I say, hey, Bob, they're going to go, that's a sick guy. By the way, how many of you are coming to my house to hang out? I have no idea. But I just want to lay some groundwork that if you do come to my house to hang out, when I talk to Bob, it's not Bob because I used a fake name. All right. But the thing is, he's become ill, and it's affected his appearance in a way. This is the weirdest sickness. All right, I'm going to describe this to you. From his stomach down to his ankles, he's really heavy, like fat, like round, like Santa Claus fat around, and then he has that weird leg thing where there's like a skin. I don't want to describe it, but it looks bad. Like he's really swollen, his legs and his midsection, but from like his bear's nipples up, he's built like a 5-year-old boy. Like he's totally lost all musculature and everything in his arms and his shoulders. So he's totally skinny and he looks like he would need help even like, lifting himself or getting out of bed. He's so oddly proportioned. And his face is gaunt, like, drawn where you can see his cheekbones and the hollow of his eye sockets. But he still functions like a normal guy. So he'll come up to you and be like, hey, what's going on? And it's all you can do to just go, like you want to scream. I don't want to scream because that would tip him off that something's wrong, right? Wouldn't that and maybe a mirror? But he tries to talk to me, and he just talks to everybody in the building like normal, not realizing that all of us are horrified by him and his appearance. So he invited me to watch football, and I was alone, and I was like, I actually kind of considered it, but then in my head I was like, I go, you know what? I don't know if I can. My schedule's pretty weird. I don't know if I can combine. He's like, come on, I invite you every weekend to watch football. Why won't you watch football with me? And I can't say because you look like an AIDS patient hiding in a barrel. That's why. I can't possibly bring myself to come to your house and watch football because there's no way I could watch football stifling a scream for 4 hours because he looks that. Why do I spit out this random bullshit that nobody fucking cares about? I am peddling obscenity. I am going to get a whole fucking army of you people, and you know what we're going to do? We're going to listen to me and then do nothing for an entire fucking week. I can't be trusted. Don't you people know this? It was like the Back to the Future of suck. I don't want to have a boner in somebody else's pants. I need to shoot up heroin and jog. Hey, ass fuck, are you listening to anything that I'm saying to you? Fuck, somebody's got to shut that old guy up. And I'm like, fuck you! I'm not a potato! I'm a goddamn cantaloupe! Hi, Mike. Hi, Mike. Hi, Mike. Hi, Mike. Hi, Mike. Hi, Mike. Hi, Mike.